Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Monica and I like to post anti-MLM, life, and some true crime content. So if you like a variety of these things, make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me. And also don't forget to like this video if you like it. And if you don't, I'm sorry if you don't like it. But anyway, today I'm bringing you an anti-MLM video. So with that being said, just as a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only, and it's just my opinions along with just my experiences. Everyone's experience can be a little bit different, but this was mine. This video came from the request of one of you guys last week on one of my other videos, asking if I can go more in depth about how the MLM or the MLMs that I was in, how it changed me, because I talked about how I was a completely different person when I was in the MLM as opposed to right now when I'm out of the MLM. So I have talked about this quite a bit on my channel, but I figured I would make a whole entire video dedicated to that and also tie it into why I'm anti-MLM and not anti-Hun, because in my opinion there is a difference between the two. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into the video. So in case you are new here, I was part of Mary Kay and Beachbody. Beachbody is the one that I spent most of my time in when it comes to how long I was in MLM companies. And so most of my experiences are based off of Beachbody, because Mary Kay, I realized not too long after that this wasn't for me, and it wasn't for me. But of course there was some things that happened when I was in Mary Kay as well. But anyway, I need to stop rambling. I will say that me personally, I did have good luck with the Beachbody programs themselves. However, that is my own personal experience. And I have said this before, that if it wasn't for Beachbody being an MLM structure, I would probably still be using all of the programs that I did have from Beachbody. But again, that's just my personal opinion. And now I'm so anti-MLM that I will not support any MLM products, because in turn, if you are buying MLM products, even if you aren't recruiting people or even if you aren't telling people about it, you're still supporting the structure that, in my opinion, is predatory. But again, that's my opinion. And I would like to add as well that when I was with Beachbody, my whole goal was to help people. And there's a reason why I'm saying this, because this will tie into later on when I talk about why I'm anti-MLM and not anti-Hun. But I did want to mention that my whole purpose of becoming a Beachbody coach was to help people. Let's talk about how MLM or multi-level marketing changed me as a person, because I've talked about it before, how Monica now, as opposed to MLM Monica, are two completely different people. Now, I know that I'm talking in the third person, but that's how I'm going to reference in this video, because there is a ginormous difference between the two. Of course, when I first signed up with Beachbody, I asked my upline, is this a pyramid scheme? Or is this one of those pyramid scheme companies? She had told me, no, this is multi-level marketing. There's a huge difference. Pyramid schemes are illegal. You know, the same narrative that we keep getting. And then as soon as I signed up for Beachbody, and as soon as I saw that you will not make money from just selling products, you have to recruit people, that's when I realized this is walking that fine line that a lot of MLMs do walk when it comes to MLM versus a pyramid scheme. So that was my first impression, was it's not a pyramid scheme, it's an MLM. But then when I was actually brought into it and saw how little to no money I made, I realized that I would only make money if I recruited people. Let's talk about researching. If you have been around my channel for a very long time, you know that I do like to research. I love to research. I love to just look things up, and I'll even pick other people's brains about things just to see if someone else has a different opinion. With that said, a lot of our research and a lot of our information came from our uplines, and a lot of times they would say, oh, well, see, now you don't have to do the research because we already did the research for you. MLM Monica took their word for it, whereas Monica nowadays does research and doesn't believe everything that these MLM reps have to say, even if they are having I guess you could say a civil discussion with me. I still look into it because I still am curious, because we all know that these MLM reps, they get conditioned by their company. And a lot of times what they're being told is coming straight from the MLM company. I think another reason why they tell you not to do the research is because if you've seen it before, I have, and I'm going to use an example. There was a Young Living rep, and she was talking about how great the founder of the company was, Gary Young, and how all of these great things about him. And when someone had pointed out the things that were from Gary's past, she said, no, that's just the haters making up stories, when there is a ton of research out there that says otherwise. And I think that was another reason why they did the research for us. It's not so that it was convenient for us. I think it was so that we didn't have to think critically. It was all just monkey see, monkey do, very robotic and just doing whatever they told us to. I know that I've talked about this quite a number of times here on this channel when it comes to the MLM reps calling themselves small business owners. Being a small business owner, I know that they're not, but MLM Monica thought she was a business owner. Normally, I would never think that, but while I was in the MLM, I just believed that this was my own business. This was my own thing. And I didn't think about it that it's not. At best, you're an independent contractor for a company. You work for another company. Whereas right now, I'm in our store. I'm not working for anybody. I am working for myself. So there's a big difference. There is a big difference, and that's why I try to make a point to say that they are not small business owners. Being a small business owner, I know what it takes. And that ain't it. It's not. It's not. The next thing, I went over this in the video that the person where this video came from. I kind of went into this a little bit. So when I was in the MLM, I did the typical, you can't complain about your health or your financial situation if you're going out to Starbucks all the time, you're going out to the bar, you're going to Target, and you can't join my team. You can't tell me that you don't have the finances to do that. That's MLM Monica. But regular Monica on the outside would think about it and say that if you are in a financial rut, if you are in a financial hole, going the MLM route is not the way to go. What you should be doing is you should be budgeting. You should be watching your finances. But it's a little different because normal Monica would never say that an MLM is the right path to go. On top of that as well, when I would say these things, because this would be kind of the way that I would, I guess, make people feel guilty for not joining my team or not joining my challenge groups. Another thing that kind of bothered me about when I would read my past posts about this is, who am I to judge? What someone does in their own personal life is none of my business, okay? It's none of my business. If you want to go out to the bar, if you want to even go to the movies or spend money on things, that's none of my business. And also, why should we have to limit ourselves to the things that we like? I mean, when I was in, if you've been here for a while, you know that I was in a ton of credit card debt. So when I was in the credit card debt, at one point, I literally cut all of my spending on stupid things. I would not buy coffee. I would make myself coffee at home and bring it with me to work. I would not buy it. I would not buy food. I wouldn't go out. Every once in a while because we got quarterly bonuses from my full-time job at the time, when I would get that quarterly bonus, I would treat myself and maybe go out to lunch with friends or something like that. But the rest of it went towards my credit card debt. So I would, when it comes to that, going back to what I was talking about, it is none of my business what someone decides to do in their personal life. If someone is complaining about their health or their finances, but they still want to go out and spend money on other things, on things that they actually like and things that they enjoy doing, that's none of my business. I used to overshare my life, like y'all have no idea. The one thing that they tell you to do is to make all of your social media public instead of private. I'm gonna tell you guys a little tidbit from my past. At one point when I was much younger, I actually had to file a restraining order against someone, and so ever since then, I've always been very careful with what I put on. Not necessarily on the internet, but what I share with my personal friends, my personal Facebook friends, and what I share publicly when it comes to other things, because of the fact that I had to do that. Now that I'm older, it's a little different. It's not as scary to put myself on the internet. I mean, I'm on YouTube and I've talked about certain life situations here on YouTube, but that was one thing that I did not feel comfortable doing. I did not feel comfortable making my personal Facebook public, but I did. And I didn't like it. As soon as I left the MLM, that was probably the first thing that I changed. Was I went right back to private. There are certain things on my Facebook right now that are set to public, but there's only maybe a couple of things, and it's things like about our business or something. It's not anything talking about my life in general, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. And I was sharing so many things about my life, and the whole world knew about it. That can be dangerous, especially if you're more well known, and if you're tagging places that you've been to. That is a really easy way for someone to be able to find you and hurt you or stalk you or whatever the case may be. Now, I know that sounds very, very extreme, but these things happen. Or maybe I've just watched too many horror movies. I mean, that's also another thing, because those are my favorite types of movies. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. I got blocked and unfriended on social media quite a number of times, because now I have actually noticed that a lot of people that are showing up in my people you may know are people that I have not seen show up on my timeline on Facebook since Beachbody. So I know that I was probably annoying to some people. I saw that as soon as I started with the MLM BS on Facebook and on social media, a lot of my engagement dropped. It was just crazy. Just the amount of people that weren't commenting or weren't liking my pictures, it dropped significantly. And the people that were commenting on my photos were my mom, which my mom is my biggest supporter. So my mom, my fiance, and then my team from the MLM. Toxic positivity is something that is the best way to describe being in an MLM. That is the best way that I can describe it, because toxic positivity became part of my life. That was, you weren't allowed to be negative, and if you were negative, all of those comments got deleted. You're not allowed to be negative. And toxic positivity is a real thing. Some people will say it's not, but it is. And as soon as I left the MLM, I felt like I had my life back, and I felt like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. And I just felt like, finally, I can have another emotion than just, oh my God, here's my Shakeology for the day. You know what I mean? The typical pictures that you see on Facebook. That was your girl. But I am going to say that I'll also link it below. If you're looking to help someone get out of an MLM, I did do a video on this, but there's a great video by my friend, the Antibot, here on YouTube. Yes, she is genetically modified skeptic's wife. Great content on her channel, but she made a really great video on 5 things to stop saying to MLMers. And it is a great video, because when I was watching it and I put myself back into MLM Monica mode, I started thinking about it, and I was like, these are the things that people said to me. These are the things that people said to me, and I did not listen. It wasn't until I snapped out of it one day and realized, what? What was I just in? So I will leave a link to that video below. I think she did a really great job on that video. Here is where I'm going to take my experience and how MLM really did condition me in a certain way and tie it into why I am anti-MLM and not anti-Hun. A lot of people will probably even say, what are you even talking about? Why are you saying anti-Hun? We're all anti-MLM. Which, yes, we are anti-MLM because we don't agree with the structure. We don't agree with the business model and that sort of thing. But I have seen a shift in, especially on Reddit. This is why I don't go on Reddit anymore. There is a lot of Hun shaming, and I feel as though some people have gotten to the point where they forgot what they were actually fighting against, and it's the MLM structure. Now, when you think about Hunbots and stuff, yes, they are a major issue. They are, when it comes to the way that they act, especially nowadays with what's going on in the world. So don't think that I'm condoning their actions, especially with what's going on in the world today, because that is just annoying and disgusting. And if you do see someone making claims, I'll leave a link to how to report them to the FTC below, because we can sit here and complain about them and all we want, but until we start actually reporting these people, nothing's going to be done. But anyway, I think another reason why I'm anti-MLM and not anti-Hun is because I'm an ex-Hunbot. Now, I'm not saying that one is better than the other, that an ex-Hunbot is better than an anti-MLMer who's never been in an MLM. Me personally, we need the both of those groups of people in order to be part of the anti-MLM community, to be able to take down MLM companies, because we cannot have one without the other. We can't. And the reason why I say that is because when you're an ex-Hunbot, most people will say that, oh, well, you just failed because you didn't work hard enough, so that's why you're anti-MLM. And there's no other reason. There's no other just, I guess, thought process behind it, actually thinking into, hey, maybe the business structure is actually predatory. Whereas people who have never been in an MLM, they give more credibility on that aspect, where if, you know, they've never been part of one, but they know that it's a bad structure. But on the negative side is that MLM reps will say, well, you were never a part of this, so you don't understand. Which is where the ex-Hunbots come in. So see what I mean is that you can't have one without the other. We need both of them in this community. The only reason why I always talk about being an ex-Hunbot is because that's what I know. I was part of it, and I could speak from my experience, and I can talk about my story and maybe even help someone out there who is stuck in an MLM right now, or who needs help getting out of one. Or even if I've had people ask me, which is why I made that deprogramming video, because some people have actually asked me, how did you go back to being normal? That's why I made that video. But anyway, going back to anti-MLM versus anti-Hun and why I'm anti-MLM and not anti-Hun. Now when you guys watch me and listen to me ramble and rant here on this channel when it comes to anti-MLM, I think that we can all agree that it's obvious that I started off in the MLM with good intentions, and I do believe that everyone starts off with good intentions. Are there some people out there that are scamming people? Yes, there are bad apples, but there's bad apples in every industry. There's corruption in every industry. It's not just MLM. So there's always going to be a bad apple. But just like myself, I do believe that most MLM reps started out of the goodness of their heart, or with good intentions. Or even if you watch my reaction video on Monday, the rep that was in that video, she had a really rough life. So she started off in a really bad situation. And in her mind, MLM was what saved her or what helped her overcome these struggles. So I do believe that some people, most of them, I do give them the benefit of the doubt. I do. When I look back on how I was when I was in the MLM, at the time, I didn't realize just how brainwashed I was to think a certain way. I didn't realize how much I was actually conditioned to think a certain way. On top of that as well, I mean, I just talked about it before. I thought I was a small business owner. no, when you're an MLM rep, you are not a small business owner. And I just didn't see how predatory the structure of multi-level marketing actually is. So that's why I always give the reps the benefit of the doubt. And as soon as I start seeing people attacking their appearance or whatever the case may be, as soon as I start seeing things that are actually bullying, that's what I mean by anti-Hun. The anti-Hun people are the ones that are actually bullying these MLM reps and are actually looking to attack them in a certain manner. So, and I do not condone that. I do not condone that whatsoever. I was bullied in school. I know how it feels. And for the reps out there that are going to try to say that the reaction videos or what I'm doing here on YouTube is bullying, let me just tell you, you obviously have no idea what the word bullying means, because this is not it. This is bringing awareness to a predatory business structure, and also bringing awareness to just how contradictory some of these MLM reps are. I mean, if just on Monday I talked about a rep on TikTok. She is targeting a younger audience because we know that TikTok is made for a younger audience. And she does have a very inspiring story. So a lot of people will see that and think, oh my gosh, I really need, I need this. I need to do whatever she's doing. But at the same time, she's all about women empowerment, but then she's going to go onto my TikTok, my anti-MLM one, and talk about how it's embarrassing, and all of a sudden, because I don't agree with what she does for her job, all of the women empowerment is out of the window. I think another reason too why I give the reps a little bit of, I guess, more of sympathy, not just because I'm an ex-Hunbot, but I think it's also because I still have friends that are pro MLM, and I think that because of them, I also have, I know that they're good people. And I know that they don't understand the structure of the business model that they're in. And as much as I can sit here and tell them until I'm blue in the face that it's a horrible business structure, they won't see it until they actually want to see it. I think that because it all comes back to the conditioning that happens behind the scenes. The conditioning that happens from the MLM company to the uplines, and then from the uplines to their giant downline, their massive downline. That's why I am very anti the structure, because I do feel bad. I do think that a lot of these people were probably in a bad spot, and they probably thought this was the best way to go. And just like my friend Alonda said in one of our collabs, you have to become corrupt in order to get to the top. And it's like that in any industry. It really is. And I guess that's just the end of my rant and my ramble. So thank you for sitting here and watching my video, even though it's kind of all over the place. But I guess with all of that being said, if you guys have any thoughts, or if you have any further discussions you'd like to have in the comment section, just go right ahead and we'll chat in the comment section. But anyway, if you have watched up to here, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you hit like, subscribe, support me on Patreon, check out my merch if you'd like, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Monica, reporting to you live from a highway. Bye!